William Hill sponsors Martin vs. Joshua on Sky Sports Box Office.
Radio Raheem here with Anthony Joshua challenging for the IBF heavyweight title. Look, no one is surprised that you're on your way to challenge for a title soon, but nobody thought it was going to be this soon. Talk to me about the moment that you heard Charles Martin in the ring call out your name and knew that the possibility was imminent that you could be challenging for a title after only 15 fights.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with what you're saying. It's sooner than we expected, but it was definitely a path we was on. So, my promoter's got a good relationship with different promoters around the world, and that's always important when it comes down to stealing a fight. We had a fight lined up with Glasgow if he won anyway. So that was the route we was going anyway. And as I said, from that stage, we've always looked at the opponents we're fighting rather than the rewards we're going to get once we win, touch wood. So then Charles Martin happened to win. And I think he looked at the next hot prospect on the block and thought he'll come over to the UK. Either he saw weaknesses in my fights or looked at the opportunity of coming to the UK and fighting and took one of the opportunities and called me out. And as it was a road I was planning on going down anyway, I took that opportunity with both hands, and it was easily done. We got a deal negotiated, and the fight's here now, only a couple of days away.
Now, you said you had Glasgow already on the docket, if you would. You were going to fight him anyway because most people expected him to win that fight.
Yeah.
Given the way the fight ended, even though Martin walked away with the title, do you feel like he earned it? Most
definitely. You train. As I said, the fight's won in the gym. So I think he earned that fight in the gym. He earned that belt in the gym. So them weeks of training is what makes the fight anyway. So much the victory is the icing on the cake, but the whole ingredients, the mixing, the baking, that's the whole training.
But what I mean by that is obviously Glasgow had an injury. It didn't seem like the fight ever really developed to a point where we saw Martin do something to really beat him.
That's out of his control. That's out of his control. So a win's a win. A win is a win. And in the history books, Charles Martin is IBF heavyweight champion of the world. So that's why I say he deserved it, because when we look at it, we look at the small pieces of the puzzle. But when you look at the big picture, this is the champ now, and he definitely deserved it.
Now, with that said, he's the champ now. Yeah. He's got 21. He's got more wins than you even have fights.
Yeah.
And you're the favorite. You're the guy that not only is everyone expecting to win, but like convincingly, there's not a lot of people on the other side of that argument. So why do you think that is?
I think that they see what I'm about, the small bits I put out across my social sites when they hear me talk. Not everyone believes in me, don't get me wrong, but the percentage that do have seen what I'm about. They know I'm ready to fight, and they know I'll walk through a brick wall to land my shots, and that's just how I roll. So when they look at me facing these opponents that are not the likes of Wilders, Furies, Hayes, Povetkins, and so on, I think they believe that I'm the one who will get to that stage and fight these guys. So when you look at the Charles Martins, the Glasgows, the Jennings, the Malik Scotts and so on, they expect me to go through these guys anyway. And that's what I think puts me as a favourite, because these guys I just mentioned are not the guys at the top of the pecking order.
The name that comes to people's mind when they think of a young guy winning the heavyweight title, a guy getting a shot at it before expected, is Mike Tyson. Now, he had almost twice as many fights as you've had when he got his first title shot, but that's a comparison that people are making. What do you think of that comparison, you and Mike Tyson?
I'm speechless. That guy was a beast. Me and him are two different animals. Not saying that, I don't believe in myself, but Mike Tyson, credit, he makes history. He goes down in the all-time great of the history books. And it's just an honor to be mentioned along the same lines of Mike Tyson. That was the first guy I started watching when I started boxing. But yeah, regarding him, he come up nicely because he was under the radar early on. The difference is that every fight I've had has been a spotlight fight. So I've never really had no learning fights. There's always been pressure. So that's why my development sometimes has been, it's been good, but I've been halted because I go in there and I can't work on body shots or work on my jab, because if I work on my jab and do a mistake, I'm exposed to thousands where I should be fighting in small hall shows early on, even in 15 fights. But it's just different, and I'm just handling my business my own way. Tyson got to develop, and that's what turned him into that beast he is. And I'm going through my own development. And that's why I say boxing helps me with self-development.
And that's true inside and apparently outside of the ring, because that same learning curve is basically being put upon you and trash talking. Every heavyweight title holder out there right now has hit your name in his mouth.
Yeah.
You've got 15 fights. You haven't won a title yet, but everybody's talking about Anthony Joshua. So we're going to run down that laundry list of your good friends that are holding titles right now. We're going to start with Tyson Fury, of course, your mate here. I'm sure that you've heard all the comments, some of them incredibly vulgar. He even said to me, you're going to have to excuse the language, but he's flat out called you a pussy.
Yeah.
And he said that he doesn't even want to discuss you because you've had 15 fights. When you hear those kind of words, I know that, you're a guy that keeps your composure or whatnot, but that's gotta irritate you at the least.
You gotta know what to expect from these type of characters, but he's the same guy that was singing my praises when we sparred when I was a complete novice. You know what I'm saying? The same guy that was saying, look out for this guy is now the one calling me a pussy when I've gone on and improved anyway. So for me, talk is cheap. This is Tyson Fury, but he should be very wary because I'm clapping behind him. I'm coming after him like a shadow. So let him keep on underestimating me and thinking I'm a pussy. When these jabs, rights, hooks, uppercuts start landing on him like they did in sparring years ago, as he mentioned, I think it'll be a different story and he'll be shaking my hand and showing me a lot more respect.
Do you think if you win this fight that you're immediately going to look to challenge other title holders, or are you going to take some time and, get that learning curve that you feel like you deserve?
I could even give you the answer of, that's down to my promoter. But I'm not really going to give you the answer. Listen, I have my defenses or mandatories, whatever I'm obligated to do. And after I get through that, then I'll start calling what I want to do, because I know there's obligations that come as a champion that I need to fulfill. And then shortly after that, most definitely I'm looking to fight some of these big names. Why not? This is what we're about. 15 fights or 20 fights, it's the same ring, it don't change, just a little bit more experience. But you never know who you are until you test yourself. And this is why I'm going through these phases of my life, testing myself right now, keep on pushing through.
Well, you're a fan favorite. Obviously, you've got the media down. People talk about there's two Anthony Joshuas. This is the one that people are seeing right now. And then when these lights are off and you're, on your own, you're a different guy. Do you have a little bit more edge? Are you a little gruffer a guy when these lights aren't in your face?
It's business. I just like to handle business. This is all business. And if someone's trying to take mine, what I've earned and what I created, then I'm going to handle mine the way I should. So that's just how it is. We're talking right now, and then the camera's off. If we're negotiating, if we're fighting, if we're training, I've got to outsmart you or outwork you one way or another. And that's just how I am. I don't need to walk around that way and barging people, pushing people. What are you looking at? And just knocking people out for no reason. But when it comes down to handling my business, I'll become aggressive in that sense.
And lastly, Anthony, the fighter that you're going to be looking across the ring at in just a few days, has given me a prediction and really given everybody the prediction. Again, you got to excuse the language. He's going to knock you the fuck out. Yeah. What are you going to do when that bell rings, and how does this fight end? Break it down for me.
Bell rings, people are on their feet. I step out, a little bit of head movement, establish my jab up here, a little feint. Oh, there it is, to the jab to the head again. Little feints, let him back up a bit. Ba-bam, there it is. Okay, cool. Charles Martin, a bit wary now. Throws a big hook. Oh, there he is. Now I'm comfortable. I'm in my element because he can't do what he does normally to these novices and cab drivers he's been fighting. He's stepping up against someone who's been in deep waters. So certain things he's going to try aren't going to work, and he's just going to slowly crumble within himself and his confidence, and his boxing ability isn't going to become established, and I'm going to knock him out the same way he believes he will to me.
And here it is, Anthony Joshua, possibly the next IBF heavyweight champion of the world here in the UK, London. Thanks for having these big fights, so I keep getting an excuse to come over here. See him Saturday night at the O2 Arena on Sky Sports. For William Hill, this is Radio Raheem and Anthony Joshua.